the link, please. All right. And we're started. So YAHAWAH come YAHAWASHI. Shalom to everybody that's rocking with us and watching on Facebook. Our YouTube family is already in the building. It's your brother Karat Isaiah Ban Yasharahla, also known as Isaiah Yasharahla. All right. So we're teaching live on YouTube and on Facebook. We're going to be going over this week's Torah portion. Okay. This week's Torah portion is going to start with the book of Numbers, chapter Thawada Rashwan. Greatly appreciate you for that. Thawada, I'm going to just... Hey, Shalom, Maharaka. All praise. Yo, Maha, man. I was going through... Hey, salute to the elder. One West, salute to you, man. You know, Army of Israel is definitely in the building, man. E37 Entertainment, man. All right. It's so funny, too, because if you think about it, Maharaka, man, you was one of the first brothers that really helped kick off this Israelite music. You got a lot of people popping up in the truth, doing so-called truth music, because you got some brothers that ain't doing truth music. You got some brothers that just, you know, they're good lyricists and they rapping, but they using all type of wickedness and profanity in their verses. They just sound like trash. It's easy to cuss and use curse words when you rapping, man. It's not easy to do music and to actually think about it. It's not easy to do spiritual music unless you're a spiritual person. All right. So salute to Maharaka, Army of Israel, E37 Entertainment, for being one of the founders. All right, flat out, you know, of this truth music ministry. All right, that brother was like, you know, hey, look, I'm gonna do this, and he did it. Okay, and he was a major influence, and a lot of young brews that came up, that's coming up today, that's hearing this truth music. You know, major influence, man. Oh man, all praise. Hey man, well, hey, look, man, you got, you know, this ministry we do together, man. So all praise the Most High. Hallelujah. And this week's Torah portion, Maharaka, and for everybody else that's watching, this week's Torah portion is also gonna address what we've been seeing on Facebook and on YouTube. All praise to YAHAWAH, man. You know, don't stop, man. You know, we got that Dark Lit album. All right, that Dark Lit album from Maharaka will be coming out. So this week's Torah portion also addresses the falsehood that comes out. Barrio, all praise. The brother said, peace be upon Elder Maharaka, Shabbat Shalom. All right, so that's a salute to you from YouTube, okay? And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, you know, share, help Yasharahla to see this content so we can get the people to gather and join and listen together, build together. We are one nation, okay? So with that being said, this week's Torah portion goes into that false doctrine. It goes into that false. Listen, you can't get around the fact that YAHAWAH told us, commanded us to sacrifice. YAHAWAH commanded the priest to eat the sacrificed meat. And it's not like, and I hate the way that them brothers are doing it because it's so full of deception and lies. Like we got a bloodlust. And the Most High commanded us to not drink the blood. We cook our meat well done. We cook it with salt. The Most High commanded us to have salt with it. We cook it with unleavened bread. We have wine with it. All right. There's even scriptures that show us that we will put frankincense on our offerings. So YAHAWAH didn't have us out here like zombies just eating flesh. The terminology that them brothers use is like catchphrases to try to manipulate you to think according to how their agenda wants you to think. You know, that we're some type of, you know, just wicked carnivorous nation. And that's just witchcraft. It's lies. It flat out is, man. It's deception. So this week's Torah portion, we started the book of Numbers chapter 25. And from Numbers chapter 25, we're going to read up to Numbers chapter 30. All right. We're also going to see within this week's Torah portion, not only the offerings that YAHAWAH commanded us, we are going to see how Yaki Hickman lied profusely on the scriptures on YAHAWAH. Some things he didn't lie. Some things he just said, I can't see for myself. All right. So now, do I know Yaki Hickman personally? I don't know him like I know what his favorite color is. If he was like, what's my favorite color? I'd be like, man, I don't know, red. I don't know, you know. But do I know him as in I've personally met him, built with him, ministered, lived in the same city, built with the same community, had personal, intimate speaking conversation moments with on more than one occasion? I can say that. So what I can say is, you know, this isn't, when we're talking about this, we're not just talking about brothers that we've seen on YouTube or on Facebook and we was just like, hey, you know, we're just gossiping, backbiting. That's not the case. All right. That's not the case at all. So some things you can't ask me any questions right now when I'm teaching. Hold on, stand right there and don't walk away. Turn right back around. All right, Shemai La'aba. You're my beloved prince and I love you, but you're not respecting boundaries when I'm teaching. You have to know when to not interrupt, Khan. If you have a question, you have Big Akim and you have an Amma that you can go to. You also have Nakwa. Does Nakwa help you? Does Nakwa teach you? You love your Abba? I love you too. Listen, Bon, don't move. I didn't give you permission to go. When I'm speaking, I don't like to be interrupted, Khan. That doesn't look like something that right now Abba needs to address, Khan. Guess who's next after me? Lamadia. Lamadia's next after me, Khan. All right, so go and ask Lamadia, Khan. All right, Anya Blaka. Does that have to do with the Shabbat? Is that something about? It's not. See, great job. Anya Blaka. I love you, Prince. Okay, so again, I don't personally believe that everything that brothers are saying are intentionally deceitful. Some of them may be, out of ignorance, because we can sin out of ignorance. Now, Yaki Hickman did make a statement. He said, I can't see how YAHAWAH had us to kill animals and offer sacrifices. Well, he can't see it, which means he's blinded. All right. It means he's blinded if you can't see it. Now, here is something, though. We will see this week's Torah portion. YAHAWAH killed 25,000 Israelite men, Israelite family members of our nation. He killed 25,000 of them. So if you don't think YAHAWAH would kill an animal, but he'll kill his own people for being disobedient. And remember this too. What was the purpose for the flesh offerings? The purpose for the offerings was to be a substitute for our lives. So when we sinned, we gave the offering of the animal, which was by his commandment. You know how much of the Bible you would have to take out and dismember and mutilate? You would be left with a packet. You wouldn't be left with a 1611 King James Bible, a Peshitta. I like how you did that too, Maharka. That was a good lesson. Maharka did a video, and I want y'all to go to Army of Israel. Go to Army of Israel website. Go and look at the recent videos Maharka's been doing. You know, the Most High is giving him a very quick spirit. All right? And he can roast you under the table. To be honest, you really don't want no smoke. The brother's been in the scriptures for longer than the majority of, longer than a lot of us. All right? So he's really quick spirited. He can roast you under the table. Super funny. Does a lot of catchphrases. A lot of cool stuff. Does a lot of cool stuff. But he's sharp with the teaching, man. You be talking about a scripture, you be like, oh yeah, that's Isaiah 8:20, to the Lord, to the testimony. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, okay. Katayar, Shalom, one west salute to you. All right, I appreciate you, Katayar. The water on that correction, when I put up the Shemai and Paleo Hebrew, I had copy pasted it, and I realized at the end it said YAHAWAH Akkad instead of YAHAWAH Akkad. All right, so when I seen that image that you put up, I went back and read it. I was like, oh, it's spelled wrong. So the water, Katayar. So the point of me saying all that is to say, go to Maharka's page, Army of Israel, all right, and see the recent videos he did. He did a video dispelling the books that these brothers are teaching out of. He did a video dispelling the Peshitta book. I like that, the Peshitta. That was good. So he's actually edifying and coming out of the Bible, and and it's like that's a safe place. So this week's Torah portion, we not only see this whole campaign has been started. It started at the same time, and this is why we tell y'all, read the Torah portion. The Torah portion always falls in line. It always falls in line with whatever's going on around the season. When these brothers started teaching witchcraft, guess what? We started dealing with the witch Balaam. It's like, oh wow, you got a person that's bringing deceit. You have people bringing deceit. All right. Then we started seeing like how the Most High. Took the lives of disobedient Israelites, and then you got brothers saying like, well, nah, the Most High, listen, the Most High is he is a killer. The Lord is a man of war. All right. You got brothers saying, I healed people. Well, the scripture says that the Most High healed, and there's no one that can deliver out of his hands. All right. So stick with the Torah portion for the Shabbat. It's a safe place. All right. Can I go into breakdowns? Absolutely. On the Shabbat, I prefer to stick with the law because it's safe. Like our elders tell us, stick with the milk. You got brothers choking on the milk and they're trying to feed people meat. Brothers talking about YAHAWASHI was healing people with stones. That's witchcraft. What are you talking about? This week, we will also see how, again, The brother did not use the scriptures correctly and said YAHAWASHI was healing with stones and was like, I can see that because the stones are inside of the breastplate of the 12 tribes. No, brother. First of all, the book of the Gospel of Nessenes, or the book of the Ebonites, did not say which stones they were. And then he tried to correlate the unnamed stones. Because listen, we have to attack this doctrine. As long as it's bringing deception in Israel, we have to attack and correct it. Okay? As long as it's bringing deceit and lies, we have to attack and correct it. So not only did the book of Essenes, which is not a historical document, not only did it not mention the names of the stones that are in the 12 tribes breastplate of the Levite, but also this week we will see that we were given the breastplate, the stones, the Urim and the Thummim, and they gave us yay or nay answers on instructions. Nobody was walking up to the priest and getting healings from the stones on the breastplates. We were getting forgiveness from offerings, from sacrifices. All right? Do you know how much of the Bible you would have to dismantle to try to take out sacrifices and offerings? You want us to love the animals, but YAHAWAH is putting thousands of Israelites to death, and you think that the Most High is just going to leave the animals? Don't kill the animals, but I'm going to kill the people who I love the most. The Most High called us his fervent lover. This means he's on fire for us. That lover that I just love you so much, everything about you just drives me crazy. I'm going to kill y'all, but don't hurt the animals though. These brothers are convoluting scriptures and deceiving Israel, and it's a form of witchcraft. But this is why I also again say, study the Torah portion, and you will be safe in that. Can't nobody deceive you if you know the whole story. All right, just taking out a scripture here and a scripture there, and then trying to line it and precept it up. Man, listen, we're past that. We're not past precept upon precept, but we're past just you showing me one scripture. You got to go to chapter 1 for me. Chapter 1, verse 1. You in Isaiah chapter 8, you got to go to Isaiah chapter 8, and you got to start at verse 1. All right? So stop lying to the people. Stop deceiving the people. If you want to teach that within your family, within your household, get off of the internet and teach that to the people that's directly around you. And yes, Reikiism is a form of Hinduism. All right, the logo, all of that golden idol that's on the brother chest, all of that is a form of idol worship, you know. And even if you say it's not, the Most High still said, bring no abomination into thy house, lest thou be a defiled thing like it. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 25 and 26. So if you have pictures or images of Hindu philosophy teachings in your household, the man literally has Shiva on his chest, a gold necklace with a lily around it. You can't get around that. We all seen it. So, you know, again, I support the brothers in love. I do not support the ministry, the teachings, the doctrines. We will stick to the Torah portion. Shalom, Bam, Yasharahla, Northern Kingdom is definitely in the building. All right, Anya Hablakam, we love you all. Kwame Yasharahla. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with. I'm gonna look at. I want to go to a few points before we get started in this week's Torah portion. This is going to be a very long video because we got a lot of sunlight left. You know, we got a lot of sunlight left. So I'm going to read about how Numbers chapter 25. How did the children? Bayamian, Baba Kasha. How did the children of Israel? Nathan la Anya Ayanyan. They're right up there. How did the children of Israel fall? Come on. How did the children of Israel fall by the instructions of Balaam? Okay? We failed not through our lust of wanting to eat meat. Not through our lust of wanting to eat flesh. And when, hey, listen. And when the brothers pull up the scriptures on how we ask for flesh, how we ask for flesh, that wasn't the main purpose of the offense. The main purpose of the offense was that we were complaining against YAHAWAH when he delivered us. That was the main point. The Most High gave us manna, which is bread from heaven. All right? And when you read Wisdom of Solomon, and when you read Flavius Josephus, the manna tasted like whatever you wanted it to taste like. If I wanted it to taste like roast beef, it would taste like roast beef. So it was our complaining that upset the Most High, not just us asking for flesh. It's so bad what they're doing because they're taking literal scriptures and just saying this part fits what I'm talking about, so this is what I'm going to use. But not starting from the entire context. You can't trick everybody, especially not those who actually read and study the scriptures. All right? So what Israel did was, it wasn't just our lust for flesh. We lusted after women also. And these women caused us to follow other false deities. Balaam's advice worked. So when we start with the book of Numbers chapter 25, all right, let's look at that real quick. And if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to go ahead and get started on our screen share. Okay, we're going to get started on our screen share on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, I encourage you to switch over to YouTube so you'll be able to see the screen share. Okay. All right. So also I want to tell y'all this, Yasharahla, you have to learn how to differentiate your disdain for a subject, a topic, than from your people. Okay. All right. You have to learn how different. So we don't have a disdain or dislike towards our brethren. We just don't agree or support the doctrine that's leading Israel astray. Because again, if you don't get to the book of Numbers chapter 9 and eat flesh, which is lamb on Passover, then the Most High says your soul is cut off. And that's not something that we want. Hold on one second. Numbers chapter 25, KJV, BLB. All right, so let's get started. We're going to look at this real quick. Now, if everybody remembers last week Torah portion, now we're going to kind of start going into the scriptures now. So Numbers chapter 25 is where we're going to start at. Last week's Torah portion, we left off, we seen that we were in the Balaam was in a contest against us. So Balaam was in a contest against us. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, switch over to YouTube so you can participate in the screen share with us. Again, salute to our Northern Kingdom brother and elder, Bam Eleazar, all right, which is a very honorable name. All right, that man, that's one Eleazar that stands for the law, statute, commandments. Not everybody that's named Eleazar really is a stand-up Israelite and stands for the law, statute, commandment. But that brother Eleazar, Bam, he is one. So salute to you. I love you. Northern Kingdom definitely in the building. All right, so if everybody remembers last week Torah portion, Balaam was in competition with us. Balaam realized he could not subdue us. He could not, his curses that he was attempting to do would not work against us. Okay. So then he just started to praise the Most High. He just started to be like, let my death be like the last end of these people. Let me die the righteous death. So Balak, all right, the Moabite king, he got upset. He sent Balaam away. Now, what a lot of people don't read is in the book of Flavius Josephus, we see in the Torah, Balaam was sent away. But in Flavius Josephus, we see that not only was Balaam sent away, but when he got halfway down the road, he stopped, he thought about it, and then he was like, okay, wait a minute. I am obliged to teach y'all how to get the Israelites to sin. And that's where this week's Torah portion picks up at. Balaam taught the other nations, if you could use little by little by little by little things where the Most High would be upset at them, then you can destroy them slightly. But when they get their power back, they're going to come back with a vengeance on you. And that's how the Midianite women came into play, okay? That's how the Midianite women came into play, which goes into the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, where the Most High tells us not to marry the other nations. Why? Because our hearts were turned from the Most High. So let's start with the book of Numbers chapter 25 first. All right. Numbers chapter 25 verse 1, and it reads, and Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Why? Did we just see them and we was like, oh, they so fine? Nah, this was advice from Balaam to get us off of our pivot. And he did wonderful. These other nations prostituted out their daughters to us to manipulate us. So once we fell for them, and this also shows you the witchcraft that women use today. Wise women don't do this because they know that it's evil. Wicked women still attempt to do it, and simple-minded and inexperienced Israelites fall for it. But those Israelites, such as myself, such as Maharaka, such as other men of you that's in the truth, we've been through the fire, we've been through the oppression, we've learned our lessons. We don't fall for these tricks as easily as we used to. All right. So to get back to this original point, They prostituted out their daughters to manipulate our emotions to get us to fall for them. They did the, I'll give you a little bit, but I'm going to take myself away from you. And that's a form of witchcraft to make us chase after them. All right. Sometimes, brothers, you go, hey, man, look, I'm not chasing. You're supposed to be following me. All right. Abraham's wife, Sarah, followed him across continents. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not supposed to be compassionate. We're not supposed to be loving on our ribs. It doesn't mean that we're not supposed to be like, oh, I love you so much. And, just walk up on her and kiss them and hug them and play with them and, get on their nerves, do little silly stuff. It don't mean that we're not supposed to do that. It just means that we're not supposed to be following after them. They're supposed to be following after us. All right. So Numbers chapter 25, verse 2, it reads, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed themselves and bowed down to their gods. Let's read that again. Numbers chapter 25 and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 7. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 7. All right, so now that we've seen that, let's pull up another scripture. And let me know when you get Deuteronomy chapter 7. Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book number 4, chapter 6. All right, I'll go ahead and read Deuteronomy chapter 7, start at verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1.
Come closer so you can be heard better. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. When YAHAWAH, thy power, shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the
Girgashites,
and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when YAHAWAH thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them.
Smite them. So when YAHAWAH deliver these other nations into our hands, we shall smite them. What else shall we do?
And utterly destroy them.
Utterly destroy them. What else?
Thou shalt make no covenants.
Make no covenants with them. Don't make no covenants, no agreements. Deal no good. No, I do not want to make any agreement with you. I'm going to do what YAHAWAH told us to do. That's it. That's all. Read.
Nor shew mercy unto them.
Don't show mercy unto them. Read.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Don't make marriages with them. You see that? So what did we just see in the book of Numbers, chapter 25, verse 1? And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. So we begin to commit whoredom with the other nations. And they called, the Moabites, hey, Shalom, Charles McGill, man, the Most High bless you. Stick around. All right, we're reading this week's Torah portion, brother. It's a lot to learn, all right? So if you don't read, you don't eat, all right? So the scripture says what? And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. So the daughters of Moab called the people are the Israelites, unto the sacrifices of their gods. This is another scripture that perfectly shows you we're not supposed to be doing interracial marriage. You may have done it before. Some of my best friends are white. I don't mind saying that. All right. I ain't going to stunt and say I never played in the snow when I was a child. I played in the snow. I just didn't know I wasn't supposed to be playing in the snow. Okay. I played in the mud too. All right. I played in the snow. I played in the mud. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to play in the mud. Okay. I ain't going to stunt, man. Yeah, I did wrong. I praise YAHAWAH. I didn't have any children. All of my children are Israelite born. Now, if you have children that were born of of Gentile nations, if you have children that was born of Gentile nations, okay, and you're an Israelite, okay, well, raise your child according to the law, statutes, and commandments. If that Gentile woman is still in your life, don't put her away, don't discard her. If she's willing to follow you, she has to completely submit, drop all of the customs of her father's, that she's got to be like, yo, we've been together 13 years, and you need to be like, well, hey, listen, I need you to cut your hair and cut your nails. Because see, really what it is, it's a sign to see their submission. If they'll submit to you and you've been with her for 13 years, what's the point in putting her away now? All you're going to do is cause more separation and division. So it's better to teach her father. Yo, you an Edomite, man. I didn't know this when I took your daughter, but you're going to be in slavery to me. You don't got to say it like that. You know, you can be like, hey, I don't know, however you choose to say it. The point is this right here. We did not know that we were not supposed to marry and deal with Gentile women. All right? But our grandparents knew it then. The Most High commanded us. Read that again.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with
Neither
them.
shalt thou make marriages with them. Read.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
So our daughters were not to give to their sons. Read.
Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Why not? Read.
For they will turn away thy sons from following me.
So when we do that, they'll turn away our sons from following them. And this is what we see in this week's Torah portion. This is what we see in the book of Flavius Josephus, which we're going to read. All right, go ahead, read.
That they may serve other gods, so will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy thee
Suddenly. So the Most High destroyed over 25,000 Israelites. And his, oh, here go another point that Yaki Hickman is blatantly not reading and not telling y'all. The Most High does accept sacrifices, not only of animals, but his anger is appeased when people are dead. The Most High's anger was appeased in this week's Torah portion when there was a priest named Phineas. And Phineas put a javelin through the belly of an Israelite man, and it says, and the plague was stopped. So don't tell me Yahweh won't kill animals and he'll kill his beloved. Grab your apocrypha real quick. Don't tell me that the Most High won't kill animals and he'll kill his beloved saints. It's so funny. I just told my man, I get his apocrypha. He did the ninja run up the stairs where you put your arms behind your back. that was crazy. He did the ninja run to go get his apocrypha. So when you read the book of 2 Maccabees and you read about the mother and her 7 sons, they asked that their death be made an offering, that Yahweh's anger be appeased. So stop lying because you want to push the veganism agenda. Because you want to push the documentary hypothesis agenda. All right? Here, let me see. All right, we're going to read from Second Ezra. We're going to start at Second Ezra. So Second Ezra, I was about to be like, why did I get this? Second Ezra, we're going to start at chapter 7. All right. Boom. Chapter 7 and chapter 6. Second Ezra chapter 6. We're going to start at Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 54. Right over here. 54. Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54. All right, listen well to this, Israel.
Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also whom thou madest Yahweh of all thy creations, of him come we all is a people also whom thou hast chosen.
Stop. So the Most High made Adam, then from Adam made everybody else, and then the people who the Most High has chosen. All right, read.
All this have I spoken before thee,
read.
O Yahweh, because thou madest the world for our sake. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing.
Go ahead.
But be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from the vessel.
Now I want all of y'all to go back and read this for yourselves. I'm not breaking down every point. It's the Most High it's out of the mouth of Ezra. The Most High, he's proclaiming back to the Most High that we are more loved than the other nations. He called them spittle. He called them as a drop of water that falls from a vessel. Go back and read that for yourself so you can find out how much the Most High shows that he loves Israel. Right? Go ahead, read.
And now, O Yahweh,
Read.
behold, these heathens, what? Haven.
These heathens who thou have ever reputed as nothing. Come on, man. You got to sharpen your sword. Read.
And now, O Yahweh, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be Yahweh lords over us.
So they begin to be lords over us. All right. I want everybody to go and read this for yourself. The Most High, out of the mouth of Ezra, is showing how much he loves us and how much the other nations are not on our levels. This includes the Moabites who we fornicated with. The Most High loves you, Israel, more than everybody else on the planet. Go ahead, read.
And to devour us. But we, thy people.
We, thy what?
Thy people.
Now here's the point. We, thy people. And what else?
Whom thou hast called thy firstborn.
The Most High called us his firstborn. What else?
Thy only begotten.
He called us his only begotten. What else did he call us?
And thy fervent lover.
Fervent lover. That's the point. We are the Most High's only begotten, his fervent lover, his firstborn, his people, and he still killed 2,500 of us in one day. Oh, I'm sorry, 25,000. He still killed 25,000 of us in one day. And you got Negroes talking about love the lamb, hug the lamb. Pretty soon, y'all going to be breatharians. You know what a breatharian is? It's the next diet that comes after veganism, where people talk about they live off of sunlight and they don't eat no meat. They don't eat no vegetables. They don't eat nothing. They just live off of sunlight and breathe. It's called breatharianism. That's the next step after veganism. And that proved to be a fraud too. All right. So with that being said, the Most High called us his fervent lover and still killed us off in the thousands. And you don't think that he'll kill an animal? The animal was to be a substitution for you. They're taking away. They're not taking away anything. They're making a bad mark on their own. All right. They're making a bad mark on their own. But they're attempting to take away you from understanding Yahweh's righteousness. All right, go to book of Acts chapter 10. No, Romans chapter 10. Romans chapter 10 verse 1. All right, get there quick. It's in the Bible. Romans 10:1. Come on, man, sharpen your sword. Get there. All right. So the Most High tells us that he didn't want us to have sex with the other nations, all right, because they would turn our hearts away from him. Okay? Let's read on. We're in the book of Flavius Josephus. Now, this is how the trick of the Midianites came upon us from the book of Numbers, chapter 25. Con. Yahweh killed Israel because we was disobedient. Just like if Yalad is disobedient, they'll get their bum popped. Well, Yahweh, that was his way of popping our bum. He'd kill us. See, but just because your body is destroyed, your soul is still alive. See? And then we're going to live again. We're going to have the same body. It's going to be built back up, and then our soul is going to be into it. And then that's when we'll get our final judgment. So Yahweh killed the animals so he wouldn't have to kill us. But then when we did real bad, Yahweh was like, nah, y'all being too bad. I'm just going to kill you. So be good so you don't get your bum popped, con. Abba got to be good so I don't get my, well, I'm going to get my bum popped. I just got to, I want less of a whooping. I don't want a bad whooping. So I got to do good for the rest of my days, con. Just like you. Good job. That's a great question. All right, Romans chapter 10, verse 1.
Okay.
Qur'an?
Romans chapter 10, verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to Yahawah for Yasharahla.
My heart's prayer and desire for Israel is what?
Is that they might be saved.
Is that y'all, us, we might be saved. Read.
For I bear them record.
So I bear record that Yasharahla has what?
that they have a zeal of Yahweh.
So they have a zeal of Yahweh. They have an extreme excitement. They have an extreme, like, I don't get this. I just don't understand these contradictions. I really want to get it, but I don't know. They have, I care. I am not refusing the Most High. So they have a zeal for Yahweh, read.
But not according to the knowledge.
But not according to the knowledge, read.
For they being ignorant of God, of Yahweh's righteousness, and going about to establish their own right.
So being ignorant of Yahweh's righteousness, His laws, statutes, commandments, His sacrifice that brought us back to Him. All right, they being ignorant of Yahweh's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness. Okay? Now remember, Cain and Abel gave offerings, gave sacrifices. One gave fruits and veggies. The other one gave the best of the fat beasts. Yahweh accepted one. He didn't accept the other. Okay? So going about to establish their own righteousness, read.
Have not
submitted themselves, read.
Unto the righteousness of Yahweh.
Unto the righteousness of Yahweh, which is who? Read.
For Yahweh is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth.
So YAHAWASHI is the end of righteousness, the end of the law of sacrifice for everyone that believeth, because we do know that He was that sacrificial lamb. So nobody should be giving sacrifices for forgiveness of sins. We just go to the Most High. We stop doing what we're doing. We have a broken spirit and a contrite heart. But this does not mean that we stop eating flesh. We stop giving sacrifice and offerings. And then there are scriptures that tell us when YAHAWASHI comes back, we will be giving sacrifice again. Malachi chapter 3, Psalms chapter 51, also in Psalms chapter 50, and Isaiah chapter 66. But these aren't the only ones. When YAHAWASHI comes back, offerings and sacrifices will happen again. So stop going off of Yaki Hickman's establishment of righteousness. All right? It's not going to be fruits and veggies and that's it. The Most High gave us an obligation to do. Okay? So let's get back to this real quick. Now, with that being said, we still encourage everybody to study to show yourselves approved. Now, let's see how Israel fell and how we're not to fall now. Okay? So let's read. All right? Go ahead, shop through Audubon. All right? Whatever you're doing, you need to get ready to start going over the Torah portion. All right? So let's get to it. So we're in the book of Flavius Josephus. We just seen in the book of Numbers chapter 25, verse 1 through verse 2, how we submitted to the other nations, to their women. And then the women called us to worship their false deities. Now let's read in Flavius Josephus how this account happened, okay? Now, we're going to start in Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book number 4, chapter 6. All right, this is line 6, paragraph 126. But Balak, being very angry with the Israelites were not cursed, sent Balaam away without thinking him worthy of honor. Whereupon now if you're watching on Facebook, I encourage you to come over to YouTube. When you come over to YouTube, you'll be able to see, participate, and witness the screen share, okay? So you want to be able to see this with your own eyes so you can look it up for yourselves. All right? Whereupon he was just upon his journey, so Balaam was about to leave, in order to pass the Euphrates, he sent for Balak and for the princes of the Midianites and spake to them, O Balak. So this is what Balaam said on how to trick the Israelites to get us in trouble with the Most High, since he couldn't curse us. All right. He says what? He says, O Balak and you Midianites that are present, for I am obliged, even without the will of the Most High, to gratify you. That's wicked. He had wicked intentions. He says, I am obliged, even without the will of the Most High, to gratify you. It is true, no entire destruction can seize upon the nation of the Hebrews, neither by war, nor by plague, nor by scarcity of the fruits of the earth, nor can any other unexpected accident be their entire ruin. For the providence of Yahawah is concerned to preserve them from such concerned to preserve them from such misfortune. Now, when you see the terminology, the providence of Yahawah, you got to look up what that word providence is, okay? And I'm telling you, the providence of Yahawah is another way of saying the spirit of Yahawah, which was YAHAWASHI. YAHAWASHI has always been with us, even in the Old Testament, all right? He is the essence, the spirit, the vibration, the will of the Most High say to do. YAHAWASHI go and do it for us, for him, to us, all right? Excuse me. Let me get something to drink, man. I got some. I got a agitation in my throat. Let me get something to drink. All right. So Flavius Josephus, he teaches us that Balaam's word was what? For the providence of Allahiah is concerned to preserve them. For you take care of it. Is concerned to preserve them for such misfortune, nor will it permit any such calamity to come upon them, whereby they shall all perish. You see that? So the Most High protects us, that anything that try to come up against us, that's what, the scripture tells us, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Well, that's going to be in completion when YAHAWASHI comes back. Right now, weapons are prospering against us, but it's little by little. As a whole, can they wipe us out? No, they cannot. Little by little, small misfortunes and small calamities come upon us. Khan, Salakia. The water. The water Howard. Put some super tonic in this. Lamaria. Put a portion of super tonic in this. I need that garlic. I need that garlic ginger vinegar. I need them leeks. Okay, he says what? But some small misfortunes, and those for a short time, whereby they may depart to be brought low, may still befall them, but after that they will flourish again to the terror of those who brought such mischiefs upon them, so that if you would have a mind to gain victory over them for a short space of time, you will obtain it by following my directions. Do ye therefore set some of the handsomest of such of your daughters as is most eminent for beauty. So he's telling the Midianites and the Moabites how to destroy us. And this is what brings us into this week's Torah portion, which is Numbers chapter 25. Okay, so this was Balaam's advice on how to destroy us. And it wasn't by war. It wasn't by fire. Because remember, Abraham was put in the fire. Remember, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was put in the fire. Remember, even the mother and the mother and the seven holy sons and elder Eleazar, they were tortured. But did that destroy our whole nation? No, it did not. All right. So by small increments, things happen to us. But Balaam knew he couldn't destroy us as a whole. So he said, this is how you get them away from the Most High. You have them to offend the Most High. Have them to offend him little by little, and the Most High will be displeased with them. Watch what he says. So this precept, Deuteronomy chapter 7 and Numbers chapter 25 together. Do ye therefore set out the handsomest of such of your daughters as are most eminent for beauty and proper to force and conquer the modesty of those that behold them, and these deck and trimmed to the highest degree possible, the highest degree able. So this means make your finest daughters, take the most beautiful of your daughters, put on beautiful clothes on them, put a whole bunch of jewelry on them, make their head wraps all exquisite and elegant. All right, put them out in them garments that'll make the men see them and be like, ooh, she a fine sister, right? Now, if you really want some extra credit homework, study the testament of Reuben, and Reuben will teach you to not pay attention to the beauty of a woman, because women use beauty to deceive men. And if you didn't, now, there's some women that are just beautiful. Yo, she's got a nice body. She's got a nice face. That sister's just gorgeous. All right. And they do, in modesty, cover themselves up. But then you have other women who use their beauty as witchcraft. OK, so read the testament of Reuben, and he talks about how women use their beauty as witchcraft and how to avoid it. All right. Very, very powerful lesson. So let's read on. Then do you send them to be near their camp and give them in charge that the young men of the Hebrews desire there alloweth them. And when they see that they are enamored of them, so when the women see like, oh yeah, I got him, he in love with me. And when they see that they are enamored by them, let them take leaves. And that's that thing that women do. All right. Oh, I like him. He like me. Okay, I got him. Now I'm going to back off from a little bit. I'm going to throw a temper tantrum and I'm going to lure him in. And not all women do this. Only women that perform witchcraft do this. All right. Women that don't perform witchcraft, they don't do this act. But I've been victim of it. I fell for it. All right. Like Life Jennings said, I done went for some of the oldest tricks by some of the coldest chicks God done ever made. Y'all don't hear me. All right. Okay. So that's in the Life Jennings songs, Cry. All right. Life Jennings, Cry. All right. So it's a real good song. So anywho, so he says what? Then do you send them to be near camp and give them in charge that the young men of the Hebrews desire there, allow it them. And when they see that they are enamored of them, let them take leaves. And if they entreat them to stay, let them give their consent till they have persuaded, leave off their obedience to their own laws. And that's the same thing that we've seen in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7. Don't give your sons to their daughters, nor their daughters to their nor their daughters. Don't give your sons to their daughters, nor their daughters to your sons, for they will, they would cause our heart to turn from YAHAWAH, and YAHAWAH will destroy us suddenly. All right. All right. The worship of that God who established them to worship the gods of the Midianites. For by this means God will be angry at them. Accordingly, then Balaam had suggested to counsel them. He went on his way. All right. So we see that in the book of Flavius Josephus, the advice that Balaam gave the Moabites and the Midianites, that's where it picks up at in the book of Numbers chapter 25. So that's why in Numbers chapter 25, it starts off and it says what? Now let's go back to Numbers 25. Mm-hmm. Numbers chapter 25, we're going to start our reading for this week's Torah portion. All right. And it reads, Numbers 25, verse 1. This bag can be moved. All right. Yeah. And then that super hot. Does anybody want some really extra spicy hot peppers? Does anybody want some spicy? Okay. That's about to ruin your whole life. That is the hottest. Leave right there. All right. Nah, just put a little bit, just a couple. You know, I be searching for hot. I like spicy. Spicy is, first of all, spicy is good for you because it cleans out your digestive tract. It cleans out your intestinals. All right. Spicy doesn't feel good, but it'll help to promote positive colon activity. Okay. Why? Because as it burns out, and if you have any trouble, it's like, oh man, my bum hurts, or it's hot. Whenever you, I'm just gonna say it. Poop. A good trick to use is I like to clean myself after I release. Paper towel, okay, wipe. When it's done, always use a cool, wet towel. Wash the towel off. So if you ever have like a hot rectum because you ate some hot sauce, just take a cool towel, and relax yourself. But that's some really good hot spice, man. All right, let me know when you feel it, man. It's some pretty good stuff. All right, but let's get back to this. All right. Banyami, I'm staring. He waiting to see. Okay, so let's get back to this. So I know that was a left turn on the lesson, but hey. So spicy is good for you. All right, and the children of Israel abode in Shittim. We're in the book of Numbers chapter 25, verse 1. And the children of Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. See? So now the story makes more sense. The women called the children of Israel to the sacrifice of their gods. So it's not like we just fell easily. They tricked us. All right? And even when you read on in Josephus, it talks about how the women did that back and forth trick thing. Okay? Let's read. Let me see. The Midianites sent their daughters. Watch this. So when the Midianites sent their daughters to Balaam, as Balaam exhorted them, the Hebrew young men were allured by their beauty and came to discourse with them and besought them not to grudge them the enjoyment of their beauty, nor to deny them their conversation. Okay? So we're going to bring that up, and I'm going to read that online so everybody can see it. We're in Numbers chapter 25. verse 1. If you're at Madrash, if you're eating right now, or if you're resting, or if you're listening to the scriptures, enjoy yourselves. If you have the ability to multitask, read, and eat at the same time, please take advantage of the ministers in the ministry that you have before you. Okay, so we're going to go to the next part. So now this is Flavius Josephus again. All right. AJ means Antiquities of the Jews. Book number 4, chapter 6, paragraph 7. If you're reading from Flavius Josephus, listen, it's hard to find these things, so you need to be able to highlight them and document them if you have a Flavius Josephus. You obviously have men that have done this work for you, so it's easy. Once you get this word, you document it, highlight it for yourself, you come back and read it, and then you can teach others, okay? So let's go back to this. I'm going to close Numbers chapter. No, I'm going to leave Numbers chapter open, because everybody has to see that you have to eat Passover lamb. Okay, so look. And they called the people in Numbers chapter 25, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of YAHAWAH was kindled against Israel. Right? Now, once we get to verse 4, we're going to see that the Most High's anger not only was kindled against us, but he executed his anger. That's why I'm careful what I say to my children. If I say, okay, I got to whoop you, guess what I got to do? I got to whoop you. I got to spank you if I say so. If I say, okay, you're on punishment, I have to finish out that judgment. And you got to take your judgment. Okay? So watch what the Most High says. This is verse 5. Numbers chapter 24 and verse 5. And YAHAWAH said unto Mashah, look at this. Take all the heads of the people and hang them up before YAHAWAH against the sun. Look, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before YAHAWAH against the sun, that the fierce anger of YAHAWAH may be turned away from Israel. This don't mean make everybody just face the east. The Most High killed us and then said, display their heads before my face. The Most High was enraged. And you don't think that the Most High would kill lamb? Would kill animals? Yo, you bugging. You lying. You bold-faced lying. All right? Let's read this. And Mashah said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one. Don't kill the animals, but kill the people. That don't make no sense. So that got to show you that the doctrine is wrong. You got to go back and ask and be like, yo, why did YAHAWAH say to kill the people? But you telling me he said don't kill the animals. You know what they probably going to say? Oh, that was added in by the lion pen of the scribes. I've been hearing that catchphrase so much, it's sickening. No, the things that you're bringing forward is what the lion pen of the scribes is talking about, not what has been written aforetime mentioned. Numbers chapter 25, verse 5. Mashah said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one of his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. Now, does anybody have that scripture, all right, where the Most High said what? The Most High said, if your friend or if your brother or if your mother, all right, who is like thine own soul, persuade you to come and worship another God, YAHAWAH said to what? That you be the first to lay your hand upon him. You be the first to kill him. If Lamadya, Banyamyan, Nakwa, Rapaya, Zakaria, Zayed, all right, Tazayawan, Yasharahla, Jeremiah, if any of my family members come to me and say, hey, let's go to a Thanksgiving dinner, I'm pretty sure somebody going to drop a dish in the house and the whole house going to get quiet. And they're going to wait to see what Abba going to do. All right? Listen, judgment starts with the house of Israel. We should not be promoting to keep 4th of July. No, I'm not coming to your firecracker, kill a nigga season holiday. I'm not doing that because I know what 4th of July was about. I'm not coming to your Christmas. We're not participating in those things. The Most High says if any Israelite entices another Israelite to do so, we're supposed to be first to lay our hands upon them. All right? And Mashah Moses on numerous occasions executed the Father's judgment. The Most High was a killer. Mashah was a killer. There's nothing wrong with executing judgment when somebody does wrong. Watch this. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses. You got to be bold. And in the sight of all the congregation of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle. Bro, what you doing here with that Gentile woman? And this is the reason we getting punished in the first place. Our people are falling off, dropping like flies, and you're going to bring crack to the intervention. You're going to bring alcohol to an AA meeting. Numbers chapter 25, verse 7. And when Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, don't talk to me about I'm under the order of Melchizedek, you trying to be under the order of Aaron. That's a catchphrase. That's a catchphrase that these brothers are using to manipulate you. Look at this. The son of Aaron did a righteous act. He put to death. He judged his brother and he put to death the one who did wrong. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand and went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through the belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. Listen, we didn't stop getting put to death until this priest Phinehas judged the man that was doing wicked. That's called a sacrifice. That's called an appeasement to the Most High. The Most High was like, you know what? You killed him, and I'm content with that. So now I'm going to stop this plague. Let's see what this word plague is. I just want to see for myself. All right? And the plague, magapa, the plague. Somebody write that down for me. Mayam, Galap, Pa, and Ha. It's 4 characters. Mayam, Ga, Gamal, Pa, and Ha. 4 characters. Ma, Ga, Pa is the word plague. Look at this. And the slaughter was stayed against Israel, and the blow was stayed against Israel, and the pestilence, the strike, the smiting, the fatal blow. The Most High was hitting us with fatal blows. Stop it with this Christianity. God is love, 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 love. Stop it. The divine judgment, the Magapah. Let's see what Jacinius has to say about this Magapah, this fatal blow. And if you're watching on Facebook, I encourage you, switch over to YouTube so you can see this. Okay? The Magapah, the slaughter, was stayed against Israel, especially used as a pestilential and fatal disorders. You see that? So don't tell me YAHAWAH didn't want to. I can't see how he would kill an animal. What are you talking? Animals got feelings. Animals got nerves. You're missing the Ha. There's a 4th character. The Ha. It's a person that's in distress. Okay? Behold, I am in distress. Assist me. Help me. Look upon me. So don't tell me that the Most High, he wouldn't destroy animals. They got nervous. They got feelings. They be crying. Negro, you don't think that that Israel was crying? Listen, the Most High is just. Stop it with your let me see. Your PETA movement. Stop it with your PETA movement. All right? Trying to save the whales. All right? We have Ma, Ga, Pa, and Ha. Mag, Pa, Magapa, Magapa. This means slaughter. This means judgment. Okay? This means the plague, the water. Let me see yours right now. What you wrote? You get it by yourself? You wrote it backwards. Con. Great job. So the Most High's plague was stayed at the sacrifice of a man and a woman. Let me get another one. When Israel went and we took the land of Ai, when we defeated the Hamites in the land of Ai, there was an Israelite man from the tribe of Judah. This Negro stole a golden armor of the priests. When we went to war, the next time we went to war, we got defeated. Joshua was like, what did we do wrong? We found out through casting lots and through the knowledge of Yahweh that there was a Judite Negro that stole the golden priest armor. And when he did that, Yahweh was not with us. The Most High gave us favor again once we killed that man, and we buried that man at nighttime, and we gave him a dishonorable burial. Then the Most High was with us again. So yes, Khan, don't tell me Yahweh does not accept human sacrifices. He does, and you don't read the scriptures. The Most High does, because he accepted his son as a human sacrifice. You Negroes got to stop lying and read the scriptures. This is why we study the Torah portion, so we can get sharp. I don't want to hear your breakdown, because you don't study consistently. The same topics, you got to do it in rotation every year, every week, every month, every day. You have to go through this word. If you're not reading it, you got to listen to it. You listen to too much wicked music on the radio. You think you got one foot in the world, one foot in the truth, and I'm just going to listen to whatever I want to listen to in my headphones. You don't think that affects your spirit? Because when it comes time to you to read the Bible, when it comes time to you to study the Bible, now you're a little bit dull because you haven't been keeping yourself sharp. So sisters and brothers, when I'm playing a video game, I usually turn the music off, and a lot of times I like playing the game. I like playing Tekken, I like playing Mortal Kombat, I like playing shooting games. I'm terrible at sports. I can play football because I'm big and I can take a hit. I can't play basketball very good. All right. I'm not a basketball player, but I can play handball. If there was a handball video game, boy, I'd be all on that. I'm good at. If there was a handball video game, I'd be good at that. But when I'm doing my activity time, when I'm lifting weights or when I'm working out, I like to listen to the scriptures. It's a constant diet. I gotta get it in me. Gotta get it in me, because the scripture says to study to show who approved. Yourself. Study to show yourself approved. All right. Now we're going to start back with the reading. It looks like everybody's pretty much finished. All right. Amath, I want you to go to Flavius Josephus. And I want you to go Antiquities of the Jews, book number 4, chapter 6. That's what I want you to read from. All right. I'm going to give my daughter Naquah permission to read to the women and to the children of Israel. She is not teaching none of you men, all right? If you speak on my household, you're going to have to speak to me, and I'm giving a verbal proclamation. I'm giving my daughter permission, because some of you men and women might have daughters listening right now. You might have ribs listening right now, all right? So I'm going to give my Banath and my rib permission to read the scriptures into the ear of the women and children and to the young men under the age of 19, that's not 20, that's not of the age to go to war. I'm going to give them two permission to read. So if you have daughters, if you have ribs, women in your congregation, and they need to hear a feminine vibration, all right, we're going to provide that for you. Again, my household, the daughters and the women do not teach men. All right, so let's get that established. All right. So, Naquah, I want you to start with the book of Numbers, chapter 25. And you have a soft voice. You going to speak up? Okay, come. All right. So Numbers chapter 25. I want you to start at verse 7. You got Flavius Josephus? Yeah, Con. You're going to do Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book 4. You're going to go to chapter 6. All right. You got that? All right. You see where it says, in parentheses, it says line 131. Line 131.
Line 131?
Con, line 131. Just let me know when you get it. All right. And then Lamadia, you're going to read Numbers chapter 26. Bayamian, you're going to read Numbers chapter 27. Basadar? All right. Were you looking up something right now? Okay. Put your pocket foot down. Too many things in your hand, man, can cause clutter, man. So just be ready for your portion. Naquah, you ready? Okay. So we're going to start with reading the book of Numbers chapter 25, verse 7. Go ahead, Banath. Qur'an.
Numbers chapter 25, verse 7.
Let me get a 7 in the room as she's reading. If you can hear her fine. All right, we got a Shalom family. All right, so Shalom family. All right, that's where y'all say Shalom back.
Shalom.
Okay. All right, Tawada, thank you for that. I appreciate that salute. All right, let me get a 7 in the room. If you can hear Naquah read, fine. If you can't hear her, put a 3 in the room. All right, Numbers chapter 25, verse 7. Qur'an.
And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Yasharahla into the tent, and thrust both of them through, the man of Yasharahla and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Yasharahla. And those that died in the plague were 20 and 4,000.
How many?
20 and 4,000.
Is that a little or is that a lot?
A lot.
That's a lot of people that YAHAWAH killed. So don't tell me YAHAWAH won't kill animals. I just can't see it. Oh, well, that must have been added in the Bible. You're lying. Either you're lying or your lack of faith, or the fact that you haven't been eating Passover lamb has you so blinded that now you just off. You just off. There's no way around it. If you want to teach, you should teach in a private, closed sector to where nobody can hear you. Because once you make something public, everybody can rebuke it. Everybody can speak on it. And those of us that have a zeal for YAHAWAH, such as myself, if I hear something's wrong, don't think I'm going to be the one to hold my tongue. I'll be quiet. I'll listen once I hear the whole matter. And Elder Maharka can attest to this. He's known me for years in his truth. I've known him for years in his truth. And there's been times where, he'll present something to me and I would wait until it was time for me to speak. And I'll get the information. I'll say, yo, man, this is what the Most High has given me. And I have to judge accordingly. All right. Now, do I love Yaki Hickman and do I love Malachi Maccabee? I do. Do I respect what they're teaching? I do not. Because it is teaching the children of Israel to go against the natural order of YAHAWAH. All right. It is teaching the children of Israel to doubt the Bible and to go against the things that the Most High performed, did, and said for us. Is Numbers chapter 1, verse 29 accurate? Yes, it is. YAHAWAH did give us herbs to eat. All right. And also, he gave us flesh to eat. Did he give us blood to drink? La'ah. So we are not to drink the blood or eat the blood out of an animal. Okay? But can we eat righteous flesh? Yes, we can. Just because Yaki Hickman said, I can't see it, doesn't mean that it's not there to be seen. It's always been there. It's been there before we were born. Okay? 25,000 Hebrews YAHAWAH killed, and you don't think he'll kill a lamb. You don't think he'll listen. That goes to that East Indian philosophy, that goes into Pythagoreanism, that goes into Donald Watsonism. To be good to the animals, don't kill the animals. Listen, killing an animal is not being good to them. All right, animals are meant to be used for their purpose. Okay, but let's get back to this. Okay, me, I don't have a bloodlust. All right. None of us in Israel have a bloodlust. If we find somebody eating or drinking blood, we're going to call them nasty. We're going to tell them that they're off, that their soul is cut off from YAHAWAH. Drinking blood, the Most High will cut your soul off from you. But you know what else will cut your soul off for? Not partaking in lamb on Passover. So don't tell people that they off for eating flesh and they got a bloodlust, but you not eating lamb on Passover. You off. Let's read Numbers chapter 25, verse 10.
Verse 10. And Yahweh spake unto MASHAYACH, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Yasharahla, while he was zealous for my sake among them.
Stop. Phinehas was zealous for the Most High's sake among the children of Israel. Now let's see what the Most High said he's going to do for the sons of Aaron. So stop telling me you're under the order of Melchizedek, because to be under the order of Melchizedek means that you're next in line. Go and look up what the word order means. Stop it with your catchphrases. We under the order of Melchizedek, y'all under the order of Aaron. You right. Because when YAHAWASHI comes back, he's going to reestablish the household of the Levites. And he blessed Phinehas forever. YAHAWASHI is now our high priest. We are familiar with Melchizedek. We're familiar with Melchizedek. We're familiar with YAHAWASHI taking the rulership after the order of Melchizedek. But you Negroes ain't from the tribe of Levi. You don't know what tribe you from. That's why all y'all just say, we Judah. Because you're afraid to look into the 12 tribes documents. I ain't going to say you're afraid to. That was childish of me. I take that back. Because you don't want to submit yourself to the fact that the possibility of the 12 tribes chart could be leaning towards more accuracy than what you want to agree to. Because a long time ago, there was a discrepancy that came out, and brothers was at odds, because there's certain ones of us, like me, I believe that the 12 tribes chart gives us a format to look at. You Negroes wouldn't even have been calling yourselves Judah if it wasn't for the 12 tribes chart. Flat out. So show some respect to the elders that came before us, that did homework more than we did. The fact of the matter is, you're not from the tribe of Levi, so you're not actually from the order of Melchizedek. You have to be a Levite to be next in line to be a priest. You have to be a son of Aaron to be next in line to be a priest. That's a fact. Because the scripture says what? YAHAWASHI from the tribe of Judah, of who it was not mentioned the priesthood. See? So let's read this. Phinehas, the son of Aaron, the Most High blessed him. So stop letting them get y'all with these catchphrases, man. Let's read. What verse we at?
11.
Verse 11 and verse 12. Quara.
Verse 11. Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Yasharahla, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Yasharahla.
That I kill not the children of Yasharahla. Read.
In my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him.
Stop. I give unto who? Who, Nakwa? Phinehas. The Most High said he gives to Phinehas the covenant of peace, the son of Aaron. I be seeing brothers on YouTube say they're just repeating what Yaki is saying. They're being polyparrots, just repeating what he's saying. We under the order of Melchizedek. Y'all still trying to be under the order of Aaron. Contradictions all up and down the street. Wherefore, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace. 13.
And he shall have it in his seed after him.
And his seed after him, read.
Even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood.
Boom! Even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. The covenant of an everlasting priesthood belongs to Aaron. So stop using these catchphrases and tricking up baby brews. Talking about, nah, brother, I'm under the order. Especially Nehemiah, man. Man, especially Nehemiah. And I love him so much, brother. Stop repeating these brothers, man. Look this stuff up and read it for yourself. Barakatah, bless you. The Most High says, what? 13, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his Alahaya and made an atonement for the children of Israel. How did he make an atonement? He made an atonement for killing another Israelite man. So don't tell me Yahweh doesn't accept sacrifices. Bang, bang. Don't tell me Yahweh doesn't accept sacrifices. He accepted, smart one, boy with the big head. Look up the word atonement. Look up the word atonement in Hebrew. All of y'all are smart, okay? All of y'all, but I want the one, him, Lamadia, the one with the big head, all right? Look up what the word atonement means. Stop it with the lies, man. And don't be ashamed to come after or come against. If I start teaching off, y'all better come at my head. You better come against me if I start teaching off, because it's not about me or you. It's about Yahweh's word. We can't add to, we can't take away from, and we can't lead the people astray. I am afraid to teach y'all incorrectly. I'm afraid to. Read verse 13 again, Banaf.
Verse 13. And he shall have it in his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his Elohiah, and made an atonement for the children of Yasharahla.
Made an atonement. What's atonement mean? You got that yet? Bring it out. Read loud.
Atonement. Satisfaction.
Made a satisfaction, read.
Or reparation for a wrong or injury.
Woo! Woo! You can't get around that. So don't tell me Yahweh don't accept sacrifices from animals, even all the way to people. To people. If you did wrong, you're going to get your just judgment. And this man did wrong. And there was a priest from the house of Aaron who made it right by killing him. Verse 14.
Verse 14. Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri,
Great job, Read.
the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites.
So you Simeonites, don't be having sucker attacks, okay? I love the tribe of Simeon, Shemaiah, I love you Simeonites, but let this be a warning. And also let this be a warning to you Simeonites. You from the tribe of Simeon, you represent Simeon. We got to watch for y'all. Simeon might be smitten with the curse of jungle fever. Okay? All right? Let this be a warning to you Simeonites. Go ahead, read.
And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosby.
Stop this. All right, so real quick. Cosby. Was Cosby. Bill Cosby just got out of prison for a sexual offense. Cosby this week in the Torah portion was a sexual offense. You can't make this stuff up. In the Torah, it always happens. So we got Cosby, all right? Cosby. Okay, all right, okay. Huh? You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Bill Cosby admitted to giving women drugs. Don't take no drinks from no men you don't know ever. Nah, I'm good. I already don't think you would. Nah, go get my own. Give him the hard turn away. Because it is true. People will do that. I've had people drug me. I was drugged, and I didn't know I was drugged until I woke up the next day, and I was like, yo, something ain't right. I was drugged. But there are men that will drug women, and they will pervert, they will manipulate, they will rape, they will abuse women. I know women who've given personal testimonies. I was like, yo, this happened to me. And then what happens, it can't be taken back. So Bill Cosby admitted in his own testimony that he gave women drugs. And you got certain Israelites that's like, nah, he didn't. I don't think I love Bill Cosby. I love the Cosby Show and all that. He was funny, But the fact of the matter is, what do you do when he admits it? And that's how he got out of prison. He got out of prison because he admitted that he did it, and it wasn't supposed to be used against him. It was used against him, and then he had lawyers, and he paid for his lawyers, and his lawyers was like, wait a minute, y'all said that if he told the truth, it wasn't going to be used against him. And that's how he got out of prison. Bill Cosby admitted that he gave these women drugs. And this week's Torah portion, you got, we say Cosby, but it's Cosby. I mean, it's Cosby, All right, Cosby. So, all right, but okay, I won't interrupt again. Verse 16. I will interrupt again. Go ahead. 15. I apologize. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosby, the daughter of Zer. He was head over a people in a chief house, in Midian.
Read.
And Yahweh spake unto Masha, saying, vex the Midianites and smite them.
Let's stop right there. So now we see what happened. The subject is about to change. All right. So first, Israel took on all of these Midianitish women. We had sex with these other nations. We were not supposed to. We fell in love with them. After we fell in love with them, our hearts was geared towards them, and they manipulated us to use their gods. Now, Moph, I actually want you to come sit next to me so I can hear you better, because you're over there. You can just bring your book for right now, all right? And then you can go back to your workstation after you get done. All right? And I want you to read that Josephus. So we're going to pause for the cause before we go into chapter 17, which Naquai is going to come back to reading. All right? We're going to read Flavius Josephus. All right? We're going to read Flavius Josephus, and we're going to start. We're going to start at how Israel fell. And look, and it's so sad because the brother was trying to say, well, we fell from eating flesh. We fell because we was eating flesh. That's not true. That's not true. I'm going to tell y'all this right here. Do I believe that eating too much meat can make you sick? I do believe that. I do believe that moderation is good too. I can eat meat if I want to. I choose not to. Too much of anything is bad for you, right? You can eat too much vegetation and get too much iron. You can drink too much water and drown yourself. So moderation is key. The water, thank you so much. Hallelujah. Most I bless you as you bless me. So the fact of the matter is that the fact that we chose to eat flesh, that's not what killed us. Now, do people get sick, ill, die? And you can use scientific facts today? Yes, but that's because they're not using moderation and they're operating in the spirit of gluttony. Okay? So watch this. We're going to read the book of Flavius Josephus. We're in Antiquities of the Jews, book number 4, chapter 6. We're at line 131. Are you there? Mm-hmm. Okay, I want you to read out loud to the children and to the women of Israel so we can teach our children, women, and Naquan, you better not let none of your brothers bring home a white girl. All right? And if she do, you better be like, you better handle some scissors and some nail clippers and stand there. Matter of fact, I'm going to cut your hair for you. And then when you get done, go clean my room. Because the scripture says they got 1 month to mourn. They got a month to mourn to get their mind right. But we're also going to read in the scriptures where we did take Gentile women and they did become our servants, but they were completely subsidiary and obedient. All right. We took the virgins. We didn't take ones that were already in the world. OK, they were never defiled. They were never, and they became up under us and they grew. We treated them right. OK. All right. But let's go ahead. Let's start at line 131. Amath, will you please teach the women and children of Israel?
So when the Midianites had sent their daughters, as Balaam had exhorted them, the Hebrew young men were allured by their beauty, and came to disclose it with them, and besought them not to grudge them the enjoyment of their beauty.
So we seen the Midianite women. All right, it was the young men, the men of of the young men of the military. All right, and the older men really wasn't going for it all like that. The young men, we fell for our passion, for our zeal. Now, y'all make sure y'all listen good. It's not in your book, so don't just doze off. But listen good, Con. All right, read.
Nor to deny them their conversation. These daughters of the Midianites received their words gladly, and consented to it, and stayed with them. But when they had brought them to the enamored of them, and their inclinations to them were grown to ripeness, they began to think of departing from them.
So once the women noticed that, oh, I got him, he in love with me, oh, he'll do anything I tell him to, he enamored with me, his heart is inclined towards me, all right? Then they started to do what? They started to be like, okay, it's time for us to separate from them, all right? Read.
Then they came. Stop here. Then it was that these men became greatly disconsolate.
Great. Excellent reading. Excellent reading. Read.
At the woman's departure, and they were urgent with them not to leave.
Baby, please don't go. Please. Please don't go. No, really, and I've done it. I've been there, I don't want to pretend and be like, I haven't made the same mistakes that our forefathers made. I just learned from my mistakes. And now I teach my daughters and my sons, hey, look, this is poor thinking. Don't do this. So once we seen that we were in love with them, they pulled their affections. But remember this, they didn't come to be with us for real. They only came to trick us in the first place. So they only came to trick us in the first place. And once they seen that they had our hearts in their hands, they pulled away. They were just following their parents' instructions. Read.
But begged they would continue there and become their wives. And
become not our concubines, but our wives. Read.
And they promised them that they should be owned as mistress of all they had.
Stay. I'll give you anything you want. Forget these Israelite women that I'm with. No, you're gonna be my head white girl wife. I'll put you over. I know, right? You imagine that? Our sisters, our wives, our mothers, like, boy, what is you doing? Go ahead, read.
Line 133. This they said with an oath, and called YAHAWAH for the
arbitrator. I swear, I swear I'll make you my wife. Arbitrator of what they promised. Read.
and this with tears in their eyes, and all other such marks of concerns as might show as miserable. They thought to themselves without them, and so might move their compassion for them. So the women, as soon as they perceived, they had made them their slaves.
They're what?
Their slaves.
See? So as soon as the women seen that they had us, they was like, oh, got him. Girl, I done made him my slave. Song Ping Wang and Jing Meng Hao, they had got us. Had made them their slaves and caught them with their conversation, began to speak thus unto them. So now we're going to read the conversation that they said back to us. Now, you might have to read this multiple times to get the full effect of the, of the whole picture. But what happened was the Israelite men, the young men, all right, fell for the beauty of the young women, all right. And then once they fell for the beauty of the women, not only did we break our promise to YAHAWAH, Deuteronomy chapter 7, right? You hold on to something? Deuteronomy chapter 7, the Most High told us to not marry them. Don't give our sons to, I like that, that's fly. Hallelujah. Don't give our sons to, is that Turkish? What is that? It's across the world, huh? I know, man. Oh, look at you all Turkish out today. Ah. So don't give our sons, don't give our, I was thinking when I was like, ooh. Matter of fact, hold on, wait, just real quick. I know, real quick. I was in a place where people are called Bedouins. Bedouins are the children of Abraham, and they're not with other Ishmaelite groups, and they live out in the desert. And while we were going past them, I seen this basket, and just all kind of stuff, and it wasn't like a store. It was by this one Bedouin, son of Abraham, that was way out in the middle of nowhere. And out of this whole basket, I went through all of these old antique jewelry, and I picked that one.
This one?
That one. Oh yeah, all praise. Yeah.
I lost my ear.
Oh no, where at? Yahweh's will come back. Nothing missing, nothing stolen, nothing lost, nothing broken. So men of Israel, it's okay to be enamored with your own. All right, be enamored with your own. Don't be enamored with the Gentile nations. Okay. So we see what happened was what? That we gave our affection to these Goyim, these Gentiles. We broke our promise to the Most High. All right. And now we're going to see the words that they said back to us. All right. We crying for these women. All right. Line 134. Read.
Oh, you illustrators.
Oh, you illustrious young men. Oh, you fine Hebrew boys. Watch this. They about to run game on us.
We have houses of our own.
We got our own house.
And great plenty of good things there. Together with the natural affectionate love of our parents.
We got friends and families of our own houses. Read.
Nor is our
nor is it out of our want.
Nor is it out of our want of anything that we came
Go to Lamaria.
to discourse with you. Nor did we omit of your invitation with the sign. I'm missing it out.
It's
Nor
okay.
did we omit of your invitation with design to prostitute the beauty of our bodies for gain.
We didn't get with y'all so we can get stuff from y'all. So what? You said I'll be your wife. I got my own stuff. I got my own family. I got my own house. I got my own car. I got my own friends. My mama love me. My father love me. I didn't say I'll be with you to get your stuff. Read.
But take me for brave and worthy men. We agreed to your request that we might treat you with such honor as hospitality required. And now, seeing you say that you have a great affection for us and are troubled when you think we are departing, we are not averse to your entreaties.
We ain't against you. Go ahead.
And if we may receive such assurance of your good, will as to think can be alone sufficient. We will be glad to lead our lives with you as your wives. But we are afraid that you will in time be weary of our company and will then abuse us and send us back to our parents after an ignominious manner.
So they're basically making us promise that we'll never put them away. So remember, we're already downtrodden, brokenhearted. We're like, don't ever leave me. Don't ever leave me. Like, we got our own stuff. But if I be with you, you got to promise that you'll never put me away. See? So it's a whole manipulation game. All right, go ahead, read.
And so they desire that they would excuse them in their garden against the danger. But the young men professed they would give them any insurance they should desire.
I'll do anything that you ask, Chinese woman. Just stay with me.
Nor did they all at all contradict what they requested. So great was the passion they had for them.
They didn't tell the women no. They'd be like, wait a minute. I can't do that. Hold on, wait. Nah. But we should have, and there's nothing wrong. You're making a deal. You gotta be like, hold on, wait a minute. I can do that. That I won't do. And I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. Hey, you heard that song? No, I won't do that. I will do anything for love. You never heard that song? By Meatloaf? Man, that mug is a classic. The music video is Beauty and the Beast. This is hard. Well, I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. All right, go ahead, read. Go ahead, read.
If then said they this, be your resolution, since you make use of such customs and conduct of life as are entirely different from all other men.
Now, this is the women speaking to us. So this is a back and forth conversation. Now, the women are about to give us their stipulations of them staying with us. Watch what that they command us that we have to do if we, Benjamin, go get a napkin from the choir. If we want to keep them as our ribs, don't shake the table. All right? Watch what they ask us or command us to do. All right, go ahead.
And so much that your kinds of food are...
Hold on, start back at if then.
If then, said they, this is to be resolutions, since you make use of such customs and conduct of life as are entirely different from all other men.
So the way that y'all live is like other people don't live. Y'all eat certain meats that other people don't eat. Y'all abstain from eating certain meats that other people do eat. Y'all keep certain holy days that other people don't keep. Y'all worship y'all's God this way. Read.
And so much that your kinds of food are peculiar to yourself.
Stop right there. The whole world has... Everybody doesn't have the same dietary laws as us. We are the only people who have foods that are peculiar to ourselves. We are the only nation that doesn't eat like everybody else. Anybody can choose to be a vegan, a straight vegetation eater, an herbivore. Anybody can choose to be an herbivore. But YAHAWAH gave us laws on how to eat and what to eat. These women literally said, inasmuch that your kinds of food are peculiar to yourselves, and your drinks, and your kind of drinks not common to others, it will be absolutely necessary. Go ahead, pick it up.
Be necessary if you would have us for your wives, that you do withal worship our God.
Ooh.
Nor can there be any other demonstrations of the kindness which you say you already have.
So it's like this is the biggest thing that you can do for us is to do what, y'all?
Worship our God.
Worship their gods. Hold that thought. Get Deuteronomy chapter 7, Lamadia. Deuteronomy chapter 7, I want you to read verse 4 and verse 5. This is the biggest. This is why King Solomon fell. It wasn't because King Solomon had all these wives. He had all these Gentile wives. His heart turned to them. He loved them. He worshiped their gods. And then he tricked Israel into worshiping their gods. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse what? What I say? Start at verse 3.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter
You should write that in your book.
shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me.
See? That's exactly what these Midianite women said. Read.
That they may serve another God, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of YAHAWAH be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
25,000. How that song go? 24,000? Throughout it. 565,300 minutes. Y'all know the song? Yes. 24,000. I can't do it. Are the measures of a man. The Most High slaughtered us because we did what he told us not to do. And it wasn't because of the meats that we ate. It was because our hearts was turned away from him. There are some religions that teach you that you have to eat nothing but fruits and vegetables, and that's their custom. And one of those religions is called Bacchus. Yeah, you remember Bacchanalia? Bacchus? Yeah, the worship of the god of the false god of fertility. All right, if you were a Bacchus worshiper, you had to be a vegan. All right, go ahead, pick it up, Amal.
Line 138. For has anyone received reason to complain that now you are come into this country? You should worship the proper gods of the same country.
When in Rome, do as the Romans. If you ever heard somebody say that, have immediate disdain for it. Never. Never. Now, I'm an Israelite living in Rome. Israelites don't do what Romans do. Romans teach that that grown men can do it to boys. We don't, that's right. We don't do that. Romans teach that you can eat whatever you want to. We Israelites. So these women said, when in Rome, do as the Romans. All right, go ahead.
Especially while our gods are common to all men.
So our gods is just like every other god, read.
And yours is such as belong to nobody else but yourself. So they said they must either come into such methods of divine worship as all others came into, or else they must look out of another world wherein they may
live
by themselves according to their own law.
Now, it's funny because when we be talking about sisters or women or wives, sometimes we just call them worlds. See? We're like, oh, yeah, I'm with the worlds, right? And right here in Flavius Josephus, it says, or else you may look out for another world. Go find you another world. All right? So they say either worship our gods or we won't be with you. All right? You see that? All right, so now let's go to the next. We're going to go to line 135. No, let's go to 139. All right, 139.
Now the young men were induced by the fondness they had for these women.
So we were induced by the care that we have for the women, read.
To think they speak very well.
Oh, you know what you said makes sense. You know what? You're right. You're right. I don't want you to leave. So, and you're right. The other people of this land, they worship this God. I don't want nobody else but you. There's no other Israelite women in the whole world. Go ahead, read.
So they gave themselves up to what they persuaded them, and transgressed their own law, and supposing there were many gods in resolution that they would sacrifice to them according to the laws of that country, which ordained them. They both were delighted with their strange food.
What? We ate octopus, we ate calamari, we ate shrimp, scabby, we ate crab, lobster, we ate whatever we ate peanut dog bowl soup. We ate whatever they cooked. We sacrificed, so we gave our hearts over. We sacrificed the guys. Don't submit. If they're not going to follow you, then they're not worthy of you. And if he is not in the truth, he's not worthy of you, daughters of Israel. Because he's going to have you eating duck blood soup. And before you know it, you're going to have children by him. And then he's going to be like, let's go to my parents' house for Christmas. And you're going to be like, nah, I didn't grow up like that. And then he's going to be like, yeah, but I'm your husband now, and my mom is not going to like you, and then you're going to be all upset, when instead you should have just been with an Israelite man in the beginning, or not been with a man at all. The choice is yours. And not all women are designed to be alone forever. Some women are designed to be. All right? Not all men are designed to be alone forever. Some men are to be, but I will tell everybody this. There's more purity in virginity. There's more closeness to YAHAWAH and virginity. All right? So I promote virginity first. Then I promote monogamy. Then I promote polygyny. All right? And I promote abstinence. All of these are lawful, but I will say this. If you're a virgin, stay a virgin, young men and young women of Israel. You'll be able to travel the world. All the shekels, keep to yourself. You won't have you can be everybody's dad. You can be everybody's uncle. You can be everybody's auntie. All right? Wait. And don't be quick to give away your purity. All right? Everybody that's ever been a virgin that's not a virgin now, even though we love our children, even though we love the life that we live, we all have that thought to, man, I should have stayed a virgin. Because we understand how pure it is. Like once it's gone, it never comes back. Ever, never, ever, never, never, ever. Now, there are different definitions of virgin in the Bible, such as a young woman that just was recently married. All right. There's another virgin that's a woman that's never had, that's never been violated or defiled. Let's say defiled. And there's also the definition of virgin of a person that has abstained for a long time, so they have become virgin-like. But that one pure virgin is nothing like that in the whole wide world. All right. So if you're pure, stay pure. Oh, that look nice. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, let's go ahead and finish reading. All right, Korah.
And resolving that they would sacrifice to them according to the laws of the country which ordained them. They both were delighted with their strange food and went on to do anything that the woman would have them do. Down in
though in contradiction to their own laws.
So for indeed that this transgression was already gone through the whole army of the young men, and they fell into a tradition that was much worse than the former.
So we got in more trouble than we got in this time than we got last time when we complained against YAHAWAH. Read.
And into danger of the entire abomination of their own institutions. For this, for when once the youth had tasted of these strange customs.
Once we started to do what they started to do, we thought it was right. They went with insatiable inclinations into them. And even were some of the principal men, were illustrious on account of the virtues of their fathers. They also were corrupted together with the rest. So who did it start with? The young men or the older men? It started with the young men. And the young men helped to pollute the whole nation. And the older men started to submit. And guess what? It had to be corrected. All right, let's start at verse 141.
Even when Zimri, the head of the tribe of Simeon, accompanied with Cosby, a Midianitish woman who was the daughter of Sir, a man of authority in that country, and being desired by his wife to discard the laws of Moses and follow those what was used to, they complied with her, and this both by sacrificing after a manner different from his own, and by taking a stranger to wife. When things were thus, Moses was afraid that matter should grow worse, and call the people to a congregation, but then accuse nobody by name as unwilling to drive those into desire.
Despair.
Despair who, by lying concealed, might come to repentance. But he said that they did not do that, was either worthy of themselves or of their fathers, by preferring pleasure to YAHAWAH and to the living according to his will, that it was fit they should change their course while their affairs were still in good state, and think that it be true fortitude, which offers not violence to their laws, but that which resists their lust. And besides that, he said it was not a reasonable thing when they had lived soberly in the wilderness to act madly now when they were
in prosperity,
and that they ought to not lose. Now they have abundance, what they had gained when they had little, and so did the endeavor by saying this is to correct the young men and to bring them to repentance for that they had done.
Stop right there. So Masha, at first he was like, okay, look, Yasharahla, y'all going off, but I'm not going to say nothing because right now I want to give everybody a chance to repent. Then he seen it was getting worse. He was like, look, all right, Yasharahla, y'all really going off. Okay, it don't make sense that we had just got all this favor from the Most High. He just killed a grip of us. All right. Listen, it's better now. Okay, we're going too far. Okay, drop these women. Stop offering to these false deities. All right, because it doesn't make sense that the Most High gave us favor and now we're starting to do wickedly. We had a little bit, he gave us a lot. So Masha started to speak out against it. Okay, now let's see. Paragraph 1, line 145, and I'm going to read. Okay, great reading them off. I'm going to have you pick it back up. So I'm going to read. It starts off. It says, "But Zimri arose after him and said, Yes, indeed, Masha, thou art at liberty to make make use of such laws as art so fond of, and has by accustomed thyself to them made them firm. Otherwise, if things had not been thus, thou hast often been punished before now, and has made known to the Hebrews, and has known that the Hebrews are not easily put upon, but thou shalt not have me, one of thy followers, in thy tyrannical commands." Man, what an offensive statement to make. So he's saying that Masha only led us by the laws, and he's being a harsh ruler over us. And he's like, man, I'm not going for it. For thou dost. Now here goes something else. Remember this too. All right. Remember this too. By this time, Zimri done already rose up and done did false idol worship. He done already gave offerings to the false deities. So he's off. All right. "For thou dost nothing else hitherto, but under pretense of the laws and of YAHAWAH wickedly impose on us slavery to gain dominion to thyself, while thou deprisest us of the sweetness of life, which consists in acting according to our own wills, and is the right of free men, and of those that have no Lord over them. Nay, indeed, this man is harder upon the Hebrews than were the Egyptians themselves." Ain't that an offensive statement? Man, Yasharahla be bugging, "as pretending to punish according to his laws." And that's what Israel say today. Y'all trying to do the laws of Moses, the Mosaic law. No, these ain't the laws of Masha. These are the laws that YAHAWAH gave Masha, that Masha wrote down and gave to us. So he says what? "As pretending to punish according to his laws, everyone's acting what is most agreeable to himself." Do what you want to do. "But if thou self better deservest to suffer punishment, who presumes to abolish what everyone acknowledges to be what is good for him? And Amos, to make thy single opinion to have more force than any." I lost my mark. I apologize. Let me start over. All right. "And Amos, to make any single opinion to have more force than that of all the rest. And what I now do, I think to be right. I shall not hereafter deny to be according to my own sentiments. I have married, as thou sayest rightly, a strange woman, and thou hearest that I do from myself as from one that is free. For I truly did not intend to conceal myself. I also own that the sacrifices to those gods to whom you do think it fit to sacrifice, I think it right to come at truth by inquiring of many people, and not like one that lives under tyranny, to suffer the whole people of my life to depend upon one man. Nor shall anyone find cause to rejoice who declares himself to have more authority over my actions than myself." See, this whole thing, he's saying what? He's saying, I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's what gets us in trouble. Instead of following the instructions of the Most High, this man. And look, here's another important part of reading Josephus, because you see the details of what's in between. Like you see Zimri, he did these things. He brought a wife in front of the whole congregation, and then boom, he went off. But Josephus would be like, nah, this is what Zimri did. This is what Zimri said in front of everybody. He fronted on my. Now, if he did and said this in front of everybody, the younger men are going to pick up on it too. Everybody else is going to be like, well, it's okay to do it because Zimri did it. All right. Now, when Zimri, we're in line 150. Now, when Zimri has said these things, does anybody know, Lamaya, do you know, Banyaman, do you know where the mouse is to my laptop? I'm trying to use my fingers, not working for me. All right. But it's okay though. Now, when Zimri had said USB, double shot, it'll make it a lot easier, a lot better for me. Does it have the roller thing in the middle? Come on, throw out. Now, when Zimri had said these things about what some others had wickedly done, the people held their peace, both out of fear of what might come upon them. Because what happened? Every time we came against MASHAYACH, we had to look around like, okay, is the ground going to swallow up? Is the sky going to rain down fire? So, because the people held their peace both out of fear of what might come upon them, because they saw that their legislator was not willing to bring his insolence before the public any further, or openly to contend with him, for he avoided that lest many should imitate the impotence of his language, that thereby disturbed the multitude. Upon this the assembly was dissolved. However, the mischievous attempt to water. Oh, I gotta program it? Just put okay. Thwada. Thwada YAHAWAH. All right, everybody bear with us. Just one moment. I got discouraged. I was like, oh, I gotta do something smart. What I gotta do? All right. Oh, that's hard. Oh, it works automatically. That's cool. Okay, let's pick back up where we left off. Okay. There we go. Con. All right, we're going to start. Upon this, the assembly was dissolved. However, the mischievous attempt had proceeded further if Zimri had not been first slain, which came to pass on the following occasion. Phinehas, a man of other respects, better than the rest of the young men, and also one that surpassed his contemporaries in the dignity of his father. So he was from the tribe of Aaron, and he was very, very staunch with the law. He was a stickler when it came to the Torah. That's why it says he compassed his temporaries in the dignity of his father. For he was a son of Eleazar, the high priest, and the grandson of Aaron, Moses' brother, who was greatly troubled at what was done by Zimri, and resolved in earnest to inflict punishment on him. He's like, nah, this Negro gonna die today for what he did. He having sex with a Moabite, a Midianitish woman. He brought her out in front of the whole congregation. He worshiping idols in front of everybody. He done tried to talk fly to Moses. He's like, nah, he gonna die today. What'd he say? He resolved in earnest to inflict punishment on him before his unworthy behavior should grow stronger by imputancy. That's why it's important to punish on sight. That's why it's important to nip matters in the bud. If your son comes home and he's switching, you got to nip that in the bud. If he's watching a show and it's got Bati boys on it, you got to nip that in the bud right then. Why? Because it will grow stronger by impunity. All right, it'll grow stronger by not correcting it. And in order to prevent this transgression from proceeding further, which would happen if the ringleaders were not punished, he was of so great magnanimity, both in strength and body, that when he overtook any very dangerous attempt, he did not leave off until he overcame it and got an entire victory. So he came into Zimri's tent and slew him with his javelin. And with it he slew Cosby also, upon which all those young men that had a regard to virtue and aimed to be so glorious action imitated Phinehas's boldness. So what happened? The young men who wanted to do righteousness, they did what Phinehas did. They was like, oh man, it's time to kill him. It's time to kill them all. They was like, hey man, he right, man. Hey, Phinehas is right, man. These Negroes is going off. We got to bring judgment upon them. Imitated Phinehas's boldness and slew those that were found to be guilty of the same crime with Zimri. Accordingly, many of those that had transgressed perished by the magnanimous valor of these young men. And all the rest, and the rest all perished by the plague which distemper, the word distemper means sickness, YAHAWAH himself inflicted upon them, so that all those their kindred who, instead of hindering them from such wicked actions as they thought to have had done, had persuaded them to go on, were esteemed by YAHAWAH as partners in their wickedness, and died. Accordingly, there perished out of that army no fewer than 24,000 at this time. All praise the Most High. Hallelujah. All praise. All praise. So this is why we don't stand for wickedness in Israel, because the Most High's judgment is what's going to come upon us. And the Most High is not against you exacting judgment. The Most High is not you exacting righteousness. All right, we're going to go to line 156, Amath. All right, line 156. And this is going to bring us right back to our Torah portion reading. All right, line 156. Now, where did we leave off in the Torah in Numbers?
Verse 17.
What's verse 17 say?
Vex the Midianites.
Okay, stop. It says, vex the Midianites. Now, this is where we get judgment and payback on who? Balaam. So now one of my favorite characters, Balaam, gets put to death for him teaching other nations how to trick us. And it wasn't through our diet. It was in teaching us to be disobedient to Yahweh. But guess what? If somebody's teaching you that you have to eat a all vegetation diet and that you're not supposed to eat lamb on Passover, then they're teaching you to go against the will of Yahweh. So this portion of the Torah portion reading now lines up with the book of Flavius Josephus, where it picks up where he says, vex the Midianites. This is a very short section. You're only going to read 156. All right, I'll start it off. And this was the cause why Mashiach provoked to send an army to destroy the Midianites, concerning which expedition we shall speak presently. All right, when we have first related what we have omitted. Go ahead.
For it is but just not to pass over our legislators due to Iconium an account of his conduct here. Because although this Balaam, who was sent for by the Midianites to curse the Hebrews, and when he was hindered from doing it by divine providence, did still suggest that advice to them. Stop.
So this is why we went after Balaam. Thank you. Because even though he couldn't curse us, he did what? He suggested this advice to them. And that caused a great calamity in Israel. And that's why you got to watch for people's suggestions. Watch for what they're trying to teach you, because it can cause a great calamity in Israel. But he did suggest this advice to them. All right, go ahead, read.
By making use of which our enemies had well high corrupted the whole multitude of the Hebrews with their wiles. So some of them were deeply infected with their opinions. Yet did he do him great honor by setting down his prophecies in writing. And while it was in his power to claim this glory to himself and make men believe they were his own prediction, here being no one that could be a witness against him and accuse him for so doing, he still gave his attestation to him, and did him the honor to make mention of him in his account. But let everyone think of these matters as he pleases. So what he says is that even though Mashiach went to go and kill Balaam because of the suggestion of wickedness that Balaam presented, Mashiach still wrote down the prophecies that Balaam spoke. Even though he tried to speak against us, he spoke blessings. So Mashiach still had it documented. All right. So this is why we're going to stop with Flavius Josephus, and we're going to go back into the Torah portion now. So for right now, we will not be going back into the Flavius Josephus. We'll be finishing out our Torah portion. That's fine. That actually landed really good. That's really cool. So we're going to finish out our Torah portion reading. All right. And we're not going to go back into the book of Flavius Josephus for right now. So we're going to be reading strictly and straight through the Torah portion. Did you read your chapter by your name?
So you ready? Okay, Con. All right, so with that being said, this is why we speak against and we correct those and we speak against those who teach opposite of what Yahweh said to do. It can cause a great problem. La'a bawa'a aita. Bawa'a wa aita wa shabla lamadia aita. Wa shamai la'aba. All right? Because it can cause great contradictions and great problems in Israel. All right, let's pick it back up in Numbers chapter 25. What verse we in?
Verse 17.
Verse 17. Qur'an.
Verse 17. Vex the Midianites and smite them, for they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake.
Call
Yasharahla,
the body YAHAWAH,
Na
Aisha, Wa Na Shemai. All that Yahweh has said, will we do and hear. Hallelujah. Kind of let everything that have breath praise Yahweh. Hallelujah. All praise. So we see what? We see that there was a false suggestion, a false teaching that was brought against Yasharahla that caused great confusion. Okay? Now, in no way am I saying that, that what we should do is slaughter, harm, or hurt any Israelite by force of the hand. No way. What I am saying, though, is that we have to be very careful because Yasharahla itself, we can give suggestions that will cause other Israelites to go astray. And even myself, I've heard other Israelites, in their boldness, come against those that are teachers of righteousness based off of their suggestion. Okay? Now, this next part that we're going to read is very long, and it's not easy. Okay? We're going to read the generation of the Israelites that came next. Okay? Lamadia has the honor of reading chapter 26. Okay? It's going to go down a list of the names of the children of Israel. All right? And it came to pass after the plague, Yahweh spake unto Masha and unto Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saying. So now we're going to do a roll call of all of the sons of Israel after all of the Israelites died. After the 24,000 was dead, we're going to have a roll call and account of the ones that was left. Okay? And we're going to go through all 12 tribes. So for those of you that are attentive, I will tell you the truth. This is not easy to get through. Okay? It's not easy to get through reading. It's not easy to get through listening to. If you need to stretch your legs, I encourage you, take the time to do it now. If you can focus and pay attention, if you want to learn more of these names, and when we get to the very bottom of the list, we will learn what Aaron, Miriam, and Moses' father and mother, what their name was. They're at the very bottom of the list. Okay? But first we're going to go through this list of the 12 tribes of Yasharahla. All right, and this is also how many Israelites went to war against the Midianites. Then after we go through the genealogy, it's going to pick back up into a story narrative, okay? It's just really hard getting through this one initially for some. So don't lose your focus. Don't log out, okay? Stay on the video. Stay in the mind state of learning. If you need to stretch your brain, now might be a good time to, or if you can focus, stick with it. All right, Lamadia, I'm not going to interrupt, but we are going to help each other. I want everybody to read this, all right? Because you got to know how to pronounce and say these names. Let me see that. What you reading, my man? Where you at? 27? All right. Everybody ready? All right, Lamaya Quran. While you do this, I'm going to have my call.
Numbers chapter 26, verse 1. And it came to pass after the plague that Yahweh spake unto Masha and unto Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, saying,
come sit over here because you got a really deep voice, man. Come sit over here. All right. Saying, take the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel from, look at this, from 20 years old and upward. So we start our counting in manhood at the age of 20 years old and upward. All right. All right. Throughout their who? Throughout their father's house. And all that are able to go to war. Qur'an. Verse 3.
And Masha and Eleazar the priest spake with them in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Take the sum of the people from 20 years old and upward, as YAHAWAH commanded Masha and the children of Yasharahla, which went forth out of the land of Egypt. Reuben, the eldest son of Israel, the children of Reuben, Hanak, of whom cometh the family of Hanakites. The Hanakites. And
Now here's the cool part about this. Once you say their name, all you gotta do is say is Ikes after it. Knights, Ikes. Once you get their name, we'll just say Knights. All right. What verse you in?
5.
All right, verse 5. We're in Numbers chapter 26, verse 5.
Of Palul, the family of Paluites.
Right? Hazran,
Of Hazron, the family of the
Hazanites.
Of
Camri,
the family of the
Camarites.
These are the families of the Reubenites.
Now remember, we're going down to 12 tribes of Israel. So what you can do is you can be like, well, hey, you can take the names of these fathers, and as you take the names of these fathers, what you can literally do is you can just retrace. You can go backwards and be like, oh, well, hey, look, the Reubenites, man. Okay, well, here's the sons of the Reubenites. All right. So verse 7. These are the family of Reubenites, and they that were numbered of them were 43,730. So it's a lot of Yasharahla. We are not the minority. We are the majority. It's way more than us than there are of Caucasians from all nations. All right. Verse 8. The sons of Palu, Eliab. The sons of Eliab, Manuel, Dathan, Abarim. These that Dathan. This is that Dathan and Abarim, which were famous in the congregation, who strove against Masha and against Aharon in the company of Korah, when they strove against YAHAWAH. Verse 10, Korah.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up together with Korah, when that company died. What time the fire devoured 250 men, and they became a sign. Notwithstanding, the children of Korah died not. The sons of Simeon, after their families, of Nemuel, the family of the Nemuelites, of Jamin, the family of the Jaminites, of Jachin, the family of the Jachinites, of Zerah, the family of the Zerahites, of Shaul, the family of the Shaulites.
Stop right there. So, verse 10 again. Read verse 10 again.
Verse 10. And the earth opened her mouth and
So,
swallowed them.
this is the biblical account of an earthquake happening. All right? So, Masha was praying to the Most High because Israel was being wicked against him. We were talking bad about him, trying to take him in Aaron's position, being disrespectful. The earth opened her mouth. This is an earthquake, a sinkhole, and swallowed them up together with Korah, and that company died. What time the fire devoured how many?
250 men.
So if you telling me the Most High won't sacrifice or kill no animals, but the Most High will send down fire from the sky and kill 250 men, and they became a sign. We looked upon these men's censers. And remember that time the Most High killed a whole bunch of us? Yeah, I ain't going to do that no more. See? So don't think that the Most High will not take you out of this world, but he'll leave an animal. The Most High gave us the animal so the animal could be a sacrifice, and then we could eat the righteous flesh of it. But it has to be the animals the Most High told us to eat, and not the animals that he told us not to eat in the book of Leviticus chapter 11. All right? Go ahead, Qur'an. What verse you in? Let's get back down to verse 13. Of Zerah, the family of the Zerites. Of Shaul, the family of Shaulites. Verse 14. These are the family of the Simeonites. 20,200. Verse 15. The children of Gad and their families. Read.
Of Zephon, the family of the Zephonites. Of Haggai, the family of the Haggites. Of Shunim, the family of the Shunites. Of Oznim, the family of the Oznites. of Erim, the family of the Erites, of Arad, the family of the Aradites, of Arli, the family of the Aralites. These are the families of the children of Gad, according to those that were numbered of them, 48,500. The sons of Judah were and Onan, and and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Judah after their families were of Shelah, the family of the Shalanites, of Perez, the family of the Perizzites, of Zerah, the family of the Zarahites. And the sons of Perez were...
What's a PH? What sound does a PH make?
Oh, fine.
Go ahead.
Of Pharez were of Hezron, the family of the Hezronites, of Hamol, the family of the Hamolites. These are the families of Judah, according to those that were numbered of them, 316,500. And the sons of Issachar, after their families, of Tola, the family of the Tolites, of Puah, the family of the Punites, of Jeshua, the family of the Jeshubites, of Shimron, the family of the Shimronites. These are the families of Issachar, according to those that were numbered of them, 304,300. Of the sons of Zebulun, after the families of Shered, the families of the Sheredites, of Elon, the family of the Elonites, of Jaleel, the family of the Jaleelites. These are the families of Zebulun, of the Zebulunites, according to those that were numbered of them, 300,500. The son of Joseph, after their families, were Manasseh and Ephraim. Of the sons of Manasseh, of Machar, the family of the Macharites.
Great job.
Machar begat Gilead, and Gilead come the family of the Gileadites.
Great job. Rude.
These are the sons of Gilead, of Jezer, the family of the Jezerites, of Helek, the family of the Helekites, and Azrael, the family of the Azraelites, and of Shechem, the family of the Shechemites, and of Shemidah, the family of the Shemidites, and of Hephar, the family of the Hepherites,
Great job.
and Zelphahad, the son of Hephar, had no sons, but daughters. And the names of the daughters of Zelphahad were Melah, and Noah, Haglah, Milcah, and Tarzah. These are the families of Manasseh, and those that were numbered of them, 52,700. These are the sons of Ephraim, after their families, of Shuthla, the family of the Shuthlites, of Bechar, the family of the Bachrites, of Tahan, the family of the Tahanites. And these are the sons of Shuthala, of Aran, the family of the Aaronites. These are the families of the sons of Ephraim, according to those that were numbered of them, 32,500. These are the sons of Joseph after their families, the sons of Benjamin after their families, of Bela, the family of Belites, of Ashbel, the family of the Ashbelites, of Aharam, the family of the Aharamites, of Shufam, the family of the Shufamites, of Hafam, the family of the Hafamites. And the sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman. Of Ard, the family of the Ardites, and Naaman, the family of the Naamites. These are the sons of Benjamin, after the families and after their families, and they that were numbered of them were 45,600. These are the sons of Dan after their families of Shuham, the family of the Shuhamites. These are the families of Dan after their families. All the families of Shuham, of the Shuhamites, according to those that were numbered of them, were 64,400. Of the children of Asher, after the families of Jemnah, the family of the Geminites, of Jeshuim, the family of the Jeshuites, of Bera, the family of the Berites, of the sons of Bera, of Hebrew, the family of the Hebrites, of Malchiel,
Great job.
family of the Malchielites. And the name of the daughter of Asher was Sarah. These are the families of the sons of Asher, according to those that were numbered of them, who were 53,400. Of the sons of Naphtali, after their families of Jaziel.
Of who?
Jaziel,
Go ahead.
the family of the Jazielites. Of Gunim, the family of the Gunites. Of Jezer, the family of the Jezerites. Of Shilion, the family of the Shilionites. These are the families of Naphtali, according to their families, and they that were numbered of them were 45,400. These were the number of the children of Israel, 600,000 and 1,730. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, unto these the land shall be divided for an inheritance according to the number of names. Too many thou shalt give the more inheritance, and to few thou shalt give the less inheritance. To every one shall his inheritance be given according to those that were numbered of him.
So we can see that the land was given to us according by our size of our tribe. All right. And I really like that scripture because, first of all, it shows us that the Most High is just and fair. Like we weren't lacking in anything, you know. We weren't lacking in anything, and he always gave us enough to be able to share with each other. All right, go ahead, verse 55. We're almost done with this chapter, and it's a lot, and I commend everybody that stuck around to listen and to learn, to hear these names, because this is something that we just don't have the discipline. We haven't. I read this last night. Before I read it last night, I read it the last time we did the Torah portion, and it gets easier every time you do it, and you'll learn and hear something new each time. The quiet, Rapaya, you have to shakwat. I know you're trying to do something, but you have to be quiet, Con. All right. Go ahead, Quad, verse 55.
Notwithstanding, the land shall be divided by lot, according to the names of the tribes of their fathers. They shall inherit.
So we see that our manhood comes in the age of 20, according when we go to war. We see that we are also known by who we are, by our father's heritage, not by, I'm your mama, boy. Nah, you're right. You're right. You are my mama, and I love you, and thank you for birthing me. But I am who my father is. Okay, remember, all living men and women came out of who first? The father or the mother? We came out of our fathers first. We lived inside of our father's incubation area. Okay, and we were kept safe and warm until it was time for us to go inside of our mother. And then in our mother, we were incubated. And she birthed us. But we came from our fathers first. We are who our fathers are, and we bless and give respect to our mothers. But when the time comes, you have to take a definitive stance and say, I am from the tribe of my father, and I honor you, mother. All right? Yahweh said, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be what? That's right. So we give a balance to both of them. Go ahead, Quara.
Verse 56. According to the lot shall the possession thereof be divided between many and few. And these are they that were numbered of the Levites, after their families, of Gershon, the family of the Gershonites, of Kohath, the family of the Kohathites, of Merari, the family of the Merarites. These are the families of the Levites.
Now right here, it's so funny because we're going to stop at verse 58 for a second. if you want to check Mashah's lineage, the Levites' heritage, again, I do like reading the book of Jasher on my own. I don't teach it publicly. You know, it's a good book to go through the history, the historical documents, and also to check names. I like it. It's a good read for me. All right, but right here we see the lineage of Mashah of Moses. All right, his father, his mother, and his brothers and sisters. Okay, so we're going to finish it off with the tribe of YAHAWAH. All right, go ahead, Quara.
Verse 58. These are the families of the Levites, the families of the Libnites, the families of Hebron, of the Hebronites, the families of the Mahlites, the families of the Mushites, the family of the Korathites, and Kohath begot Amram. And the name of Amram's wife was Jochebed.
Great job.
The daughter of Levi, whom her mother bare to Levi in Egypt. And she bare unto Amram, Aaron, and Mashah, and Miriam, their sister.
Now, if you want to have a fun read, you know, you can do this, which, you know, I just suggested. Read about Mashah, Moses' birth in Egypt. It's got some tripped out stuff in it. During the time frame of Mashah's birth, and again, I do not teach out of the book of Jasher on the Shabbath, first day of the week. You know, I stick to the Torah, Flavius Josephus, I stick to history. I will say this, though. Jasher's account of Moses' birth got some tripped out stuff in it, especially what was happening to us in Egypt. All right, the origin of Cabbage Patch Kids can be found in the book of Jasher. I know that sounds strange, but hey, you know. So if you get a chance, you know, it's just a fun read, you know. But remember, the Torah, the Bible comes first. All right, the Bible comes first. All right, go ahead, Quara.
Verse 60. And unto Aharon was born Nadab,
Right.
and
Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. And Nadab and Abihu died when they offered strange fire before YAHAWAH. And those that were numbered of them were 20 and 3,000, all males from a month old and upward. They were not numbered among the children of Israel, because that there was no inheritance given them among all the children of Israel. Verse 63. These are they that were numbered by Mashah and Eleazar, the priest, who numbered the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. Verse 64. Qur'an.
But among these there was not a man of them whom bare the children of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. For YAHAWAH had said of them.
Wait, hold on, stop. Read verse 64 again.
But among these there was not a man of them whom bare the children of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai.
I think he's speaking
I'm going to read it with you. But among these there was not a man of them whom Mashah and Aharon, the priest, numbered. Go ahead. It happens. When they what?
When they numbered the children of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. For YAHAWAH had said of them, they shall surely die in the wilderness, and there was not left a man of them, save Caleb the son of Jephthah, and Joshua the son of Nun. Kal
Asherah, Debar YAHAWAH, Na'isha, Wana Shemai. All that YAHAWAH has said, what we do, and here. All right, give it up for yourselves for making it through that chapter, man. Hallelujah. Give it up for Lamadiyah for reading all that. God. Hallelujah. All right. So with that being said, we see the lineage, we see the heritage of the children of Israel when things were started over, when it was a kickstart. Because remember, YAHAWAH had just killed 24,000 of us. So he's like, I gotta count y'all again. Okay? So he just killed 24,000 of us, and that's the army, or that's the camp of everybody that went to war with the Midianites next. Okay, very fun research to look up our heritage. We also see that the Most High numbered us from the age of 20 on up. Okay, so if you're a young man and you're 18, you're 17, you're 16, you're 19, you're talking about you a grown man. You're not a man yet. All right, you're not a man yet. You're still a baby brew, and you're under the jurisdiction of your father and your mother. But once you turn 20, though, you're able to go to war. So remember, the Most High commands us to keep extra. The Most High commands us to keep our sons and our daughters in straightly. Okay, so mothers, you have an obligation and a responsibility to teach your sons. All right, and even at the age of 41, 42, 53, if our parents are still alive, they still have rulership and dominion over us. All right, so honor your parents forever. Con? All right, we're in the book of Numbers, chapter 27, verse 1. We're going to try to get through this pretty fast. All right, and this right here, we're going to learn about what? We're going to learn about inheritance. All right, so let me ask a question. If, yes? Con?
If when you're 50 and 42, they have the meaning over us. That means I don't understand what you mean by that. Because I know when you get married, you cut off from your parents, you no longer, they didn't have to keep you in order.
Well, they can still give us orders. I mean, but they don't supersede, what our marriage, what the marriage is. So if my ama says, hey, listen, I want you to come and do this and help me, we don't disregard them. We still give reverence and we still give respect to if your Abba, he says, hey, honey, I want you to come and help me with this or come and do this. We don't disregard them. That's like throwing away our parents after we get married. We don't, So
I mean, certain things, like Muhammad said, every 6 months, this is the rule that she must do. Every 6 months, we'll go back to York.
Okay, well, I'm okay with that, but it's still, that rest still rests on your husband. And me, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, I'll come. But, I mean, there also might be a time where I'll be like, well, because this is during this time frame of this season, or I need y'all to stay here, So we still honor and reverence our parents, But you're right. Once a woman and a man become joined, then now the scripture says what? For this cause, a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife, and the two shall be twain. All right. So, but we don't totally disregard our parents just because we've become married. We still have to give reverence, honor, and respect to their instructions. Lamad Yahi might, Bayamia might, Nakwa might, one day, Rapaya might. Zakaria might one day, become in a marriage covenant. We still want them to honor us. All right. Matter of fact, go to the book of Sirach. All right. Go to the book of Sirach, chapter 3, and let's bring this up real quick. Everybody, if you got apocrypha, go to Sirach, chapter 3. All right. If you don't got apocrypha, just listen. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3, KJV. So even though we do come into marriages, we do want to still be honorable to our parents. The woman, her responsibility is now shifted, to being obligated to her husband as her husband is obligated to YAHAWAH. All right, but we do not cast our parents off. Okay. Sirach chapter 3, start at verse 3. You.
Whoso honors his father maketh an atonement for his sins.
All right. Whoso honors his father making atonement for his sins. Read.
And he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure.
He that honoreth his mother is one that layeth up treasure. Read.
Whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children.
So this is in marriage. Whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children. Read.
And when he maketh his prayers, he shall be heard.
And when he maketh his prayers, he shall be heard. Read.
He that honoreth his father shall have a long life, and he that is obedient unto YAHAWAH shall be comfort to his mother.
See? So we still have a responsibility to our parents, even when we step outside of the boundaries of their house. We still have an obligation, a duty to them. But my rib's father does not have dominion over me, nor over her to the degree that I now have, as the husband now has. Why? Because the daughter was given to another man now. All right. But do we still honor them? Do we still give reverence? Absolutely. All right. What verse you just read from? What verse?
6.
Verse 6. Verse 7. Qur'an.
He that feareth Yahweh will honor his he that feareth his father and will do service unto his parents as to his master.
He that feareth Yahweh will honor his father and will do service unto his parents as to his masters. So like the sister said, she said, well, hey, you know, my mama, she requested that I come home every 6 months. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 30. All right, get that real quick. All right, everybody get Deuteronomy 30. All right. Everybody get Deuteronomy 30. All right, so I'm going to read this. We're going to go down. Honor thy father and mother, both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them. For the blessings of the father establishes the house of the children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundation. Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee. For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father, and a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children. My son, look at this, my son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth. All right? So throughout our lifetime, even after we go into marriages and covenants and righteousness, we are still to be there, keepers and helpers and assistants for our parents, okay? Verse 13. And if his understanding fail, have what with him? Oh, how'd you know? Great job. You ain't even there. Great job. And if his understanding fail, have patience with him, and despise him not when thou art in thy full strength. So now you've become an adult. You're in your full strength. Don't despise your parents, young ladies, young sons. All right, just because you're a husband or a wife now, you still give reverence to your parents. All right, verse 14. For the relieving of thy father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins it shall be added to build thee up. In the day of thy affliction it shall be remembered. Thy sins also shall melt away as the ice in the fair warm weather. He that forsaketh his father is as a blasphemer, and he that angereth his mother is accursed of Yahweh. All right, now let's hold that thought and let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 30 now. Deuteronomy chapter 30. I'm going to bring it up on the screen so everybody can see it. Deuteronomy chapter 30, KJV, BLB.
The beginning?
Deuteronomy chapter 30, yep. And we're going to get a taste of this because this is actually this week's Torah portion. Deuteronomy chapter 30 ends off this week's Torah portion reading. All right. And if you're watching on Facebook, I encourage you to go to YouTube. I'm going to sign off and end this video right now. And we will be reading from YouTube. The water for sharing. Yo, Michael Rounds. Brother be busting them rounds in the truth. The Most High bless you, brother. All right. Who is like Yah? Michael. Who is like Yah? So if you're watching on Facebook, I encourage you to go to YouTube. The water for logging in. We love you. Respect you. Shalom. Say shalom, family. Shalom.